Hello, friends. Welcome to Level Up with Debbie Neal. I am your host. There is nowhere I would rather be than right here, right now with you. This podcast is all about leveling up in all aspects of our lives. Thank you for being here. I am so grateful. I'm excited to be on this journey with you. Together, we are leveling up. You ready? Hello, my Level Up family. You guys, I'm excited for today, and you guys are in for a special treat. And I got to tell you, I have a guest on here. And I invited him not only because he's literally like my bestie in the world, and we were separated at birth, and we've traveled the world together, but we laugh. We laugh, you guys, through building a business together. We have developed a friendship and a relationship that I can't even tell you. It's like no other because we are across the pond from one another. But the relationships and the community you build and the people you surround yourself makes such a difference in the world. So we're going to talk leadership. We're going to talk mindset. We're going to have some fun here today. We're really going to have some fun because we actually don't even know what we're going to talk about. Because even if we were to plan what we're going to talk about, it would have never come out the way we're going to talk today. So you're going to hear from today Iain Pritchard. And I can't even give you so much of a background, but he's in property, he's in real estate, he's in interiors. I've stayed at Iain's home so many times. I actually feel like I have a beautiful home till I go to Iain's home. And then it's like, I didn't even know that everything could look so perfect. I mean, he does do this professionally. So that's what I tell myself when I start to feel insecure, when somebody's even bathroom could be decorated as absolutely perfectly as this man's bathroom. But in addition, he is in network marketing. He's a top leader globally in our company. But what even stands out above and beyond that, he's one of the most incredible human beings that you'll have the opportunity to spend time with. He's real. He's authentic. He's true. He's hardworking. He is funny, really, really funny. So Iain, before we even get started today, I want you to say hello to our audience. We have a lot of people listening. In fact, I think you're the episode that's either going to hit the 2 million or we're just going to surpass the 2 million. So it's really fun. I'm so grateful to have you here and a part of it. And we're going to talk everything today from leadership to momentum to energy. But before we even get started today, I'd love for you to just say, hi, who are you? What do you want people to know about you?
Well, hi, everybody. And I'm so excited to be on this with my absolute twin, Debs. And, you know, the funny thing is that we literally, when we very, very first met so many years ago now, I can't even begin to remember the time that we actually officially kind of were introduced to each other. But we literally laugh like a pair of hyenas. The pair of us get together, but we laugh about the funniest things, like the most silly things ever. But we can find the fun in everything. We can find the good in everything. And I love that about us because, you know, one of the things that I love about Debbie so much, and you guys absolutely will know this from listening into her podcast, but one of the things is that she says it how it is. And I'm the same. And I think that's why we're so close and why we get on so well, because we call a spade a spade. We say it how it is. I have some funny sayings that are very British that send Debbie like rolling around the room with laughter. When I said to her once, just get your skates on, she was roaring. She'd never heard that as an American as a phrase. And so we have fun together. But I'm just really excited to be on this with you guys. And I can't wait to share some of my kind of experiences, my ideas, my thoughts, and hope that maybe that will inspire you or help you in some way in your journey in life. So Debs, yeah, let's do this.
So now that you brought up, put your skates on, you guys, I'm going to give you the background of that. So both Iain and I we're very disciplined, but we're very like, type A personality, but sometimes like I could be like, go with the flow. And I really feel like Iain is too, but at this very moment he wasn't. So we were away, we were in Hawaii, we were together. And because we were in Hawaii, we had somebody covering a call. And he was like, Rain Man, you sure this person's doing it? You sure this person's doing it? Yes, and this person's doing it. This person's doing it. And so we're supposed to be at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So now we're sitting by the pool because it's Maui time. It's 5 hours before. And it's literally 5 minutes before the call. And I accidentally told him the wrong person. So a different person was doing the call. Long story short, she was sitting right next to Iain. And he was like, instead of just asking her why she was sitting there, he's like, so is she doing the call? I go, yeah, totally. He's like, it's in 4 minutes. She better get her skates on. So that's what he said to me. I guess you really had to be there, but I found it absolutely, I howled. He must have said that to me a decade ago, and I still find it so funny. So that's a little bit of the background of that story. So Iain, let's talk leadership. Let's focus on entrepreneurship, because not everybody that listens to this podcast is an entrepreneur, but a lot of them are, or a lot of them desire to be. And so one of the things that I think is one of the most important things when you are an entrepreneur is leadership. And there's so many things that fall under the umbrella of leadership. But it's also starting out whatever it is you're doing with a no matter what attitude, like no matter what. So let's talk about that. Like, what's your feeling? Talk about no matter what. What's your feeling on no matter what?
Underpinning whatever it is you're going to do in your life, whether it's a business, whether it's a relationship, if you're going to go for something, you have to have no matter what. You have to be committed. You have to be all in. And, underpinning any kind of no matter what is a purpose or a desire to do something, or to what's going to drive you to do it, what's actually getting you up out of bed every day, what's making you do it. So you don't become no matter what if you're dipping your toe in. The two don't go together. We talk about commitment a lot. We talk about what is it that, what does that look like? What's the definition of commitment? Doing what you said you're going to do when that feeling you've said it in is gone. So many people want more in life, want to have flexibility, want to have choices, want to have a business, want to be an entrepreneur, but don't want to be all in. They don't want to have a no matter what attitude towards it. And so when you know why you want something, that's the thing that's going to drive you through the challenges, the fears, the insecurities, the moments of doubt, the fear, the really terrifying moments sometimes of being an entrepreneur, and the level of risk that might sometimes come with that. Maybe that's a risk financially, but it could be a risk just personally. So, if you don't have something that's the driving force, that's the fire in your belly, then no matter what won't be there.
Amen. And, vision, I talk vision a lot on my podcast. And I think that's one of the things that really attracted me to you, because I didn't know you, right? We got to know each other, but you had a massive vision. I started with a massive, massive, massive vision. And there's so many people today, no matter, again, what it is you do, if you don't see it and you don't actually have this crystal clear vision in your mind, it's like you're going from point A to point Z on, I don't even know what, like a tuk-tuk. Like, you need the vision is what drives you. It's what gets you. And so what is the role that vision has had in your success?
Ultimately, it is absolutely everything, because without a vision, it's just a bit of a pipe dream, and, if you don't have a vision that's underpinned with a work ethic, if you don't have a vision that has a plan attached to it, then, anyone can have a vision. Anyone can put pictures up on the wall of things they want. Anybody can visualize the life they want. Anyone can. But if it's not underpinned with work ethic and the right level of action, it becomes a dream. It's just a dream. But if you don't have a vision and you don't see it in your mind's eye before, and you know what? I believe that I believe we're kind of the human race is split a bit 50-50. I think vision becomes quite easily to some people. I think if you're quite a creative, if your mind's quite active, some people joke with me that, if I'm driving along and someone swerves, I've already seen the entire potential scenario of what's going to happen, and where, air ambulances flying in, and it's a bit dramatic. And it's because it's almost like I've kind of seen, I kind of visualize and I kind of create. And the problem with that, in a bad way, is that, you can create stories that aren't real, but equally in a good way, you can create stories and you can create that vision for what it is that you want your life to be like, what it is that you want your day to look like on a very simple basis. You need to get up in the morning and visualize how your day is going to happen, how your day is going to go. Because if you got up in the morning I don't know, you're eating your bowl of cereal, dropped your bowl on the floor, it's smashed. You're thinking, oh goodness me, I'm late for work. I burnt my finger on the kettle. Like, you're having a bad day, and your vision is shrunk to it's all really terrible, and you haven't thought about your life, and you haven't thought about what you want your world to be like, and you want your day to go like. Then you're going to end up with something that just ends up just happening to you rather than you creating it. And so, day in, day out, one of the most powerful things that anybody can ever do is sit with their eyes closed, even just for a minute or two, and really think about, really see in their mind's eye. And I'm closing my eyes as I'm doing it, talking to you, even though this is a podcast, so people might not be able to see me close my eyes, but see it. Close your eyes and just take a moment to really visualize it. Let's say you've got a big vision for your life. Maybe it's to live in a certain place, or to drive a certain car, or to earn a certain amount of money, or to be around a certain type of people, or to visit certain places, or to do a certain, to support a really good cause, or to do a charity work or whatever. Do you see it? Do you see yourself in that house, in that car, in that environment with those incredible people? If you're not seeing it before it's happened, the problem is that most people want the evidence before they see it. So they're waiting to see it happen in their life before they believe it can ever happen for them. And the reality is that doesn't really ever come. You don't see the evidence until you've seen it in your mind's eye first. And then your mind will find ways to make that become your reality. And sometimes the journey to that end goal could be way longer than you ever expect. And there are so many times in my life where I've thought about something and I've visualized it and I've believed in it and visualized it and sort of really spent so much focus on it. It's been many, many, many years before I've ever seen anything close to that come into my life. But without that and planting that seed, you don't ever have a chance of that coming into your world, because we get what we focus on.
You're talking vision. And of course, immediately I'm thinking dreams. But you said something like to see something before it happens. So what's the story that just came into my mind? You guys, this is another Maui story with me and Iain. I bet you didn't have a vision of that lounge chair knocking me out. So Iain and I were sitting in Maui dreaming.
I probably did at some point in my life. Had a vision when there was a big windy storm that some lounge was going to come and take someone's head out. I manifested it probably 20 years before as a kid. Anyway, tell the story.
Iain and I were sitting there just talking about dreams, goals. I mean, imagine we're looking at the water, we're looking at the palm trees, we're looking at the pool, and it was a windy day. And the lounge chairs were metal. They were metal. So I'm sitting there talking to him, and out of the blue, a lounge chair got gusted up, came at me, not only hit me, my friends, but knocked me out cold. And I have to say, I don't even remember what happened. So I had to be taken to like the infirmary when I came to. Iain has a picture of me in a wheelchair with blood going down my face, which is actually, it wasn't funny at the time, but it's very, very funny now. And Iain, who I consider this strong, successful, visionary. I mean, I look up to this man. We get to the infirmary and he basically said, I think I'm going to pass out for the 45 minutes before they even looked at me. And then he was like, there's a lot of people here. They have germs. The people to the right of me have germs. The people to the left have germs. I think I'm going to pass out. To the fact that when they came out to get the patient, I'm like, just take him. He's way more messed up than I am. Wheel him to the back of the infirmary. And look at him. So that was just a funny story thinking about vision. And that just reminds me, you guys, when people look at a business or they look at top earners, or they look at top achievers, and you know what? The work ethic is so important and the grit is so important. But along the way of the journey, it's so much fun. It's so much fun. And you never, ever, ever know the people that you're going to come in contact with. I did not know Iain Pritchard when I began my journey as an entrepreneur, but when you raise your level, when you raise your bar, when you when you know that you become of the sum of the 5 people you hang around with the most, then the people that are in your circle, it matters. We laugh, but I can tell you with all the conversations, and Iain's not just somebody that I could talk to for 5 minutes. Every time we talk, it's like, oh my gosh, we've been on the phone 90 minutes. We both have to go. It's always about the positive and the gratitude. And trust me, in our journeys, there have been times that we both have been on our knees and why is this happening and how could this happen? And we're pushing through the pain and the discomfort. But on the other end of that, it's so gratifying. And there's so many people that when they hit the bumps in the road, they're either turning to the wrong people who are saying, don't even do that to yourself. It's so uncomfortable, right? So it's a combination here of growing through the obstacles, but who are you surrounding yourself with when you grow through those obstacles? And who are you surrounding yourself when you're pushing yourself to the next level? Because we've always held each other accountable. Like, get up, dust yourself off. This is what we're doing. It was there for a reason. It's there to grow you. So like, Iain, what's your thought on the people that you surround yourself with? Because there are people out there that they want success. They want multi-million-dollar businesses. And then they're hanging out with people that are saying, don't do that, or you don't want to be uncomfortable, or where you are is good enough, which is something we've never, ever, ever told one another.
Mm-hmm. No. Okay. First and foremost, you get what you expect and you get what you allow. And that comes from, if you allow yourself to be around people that are maybe smaller thinkers. And don't get me wrong, we've all got people in our lives that we love to pieces. They might be family members, they might be close friends. But what you've got to do is be around people that you can have big conversations with. You want to be around people that are talking about the future. They are future focused. Yes, we can have a great memory about a situation in the past, but if people are constantly dwelling on what's been and what went wrong and what's not working and what's not happening and how difficult something is, that's shrinking you away from your goals and your vision. You want to be around people that are talking about things and about ideas and about talking about where they're going and not talking about people. I spend, over the years, you become more aware, I think, and more intentionally aware and conscious when you're developing yourself as an entrepreneur and developing yourself as a in a world where personal development is huge for your mindset and your attitude and your ability to grow. But when you start to become a much more conscious person, and you kind of start putting in more boundaries about what you will and won't accept and what you will and won't allow. And so, there have been times where I have intentionally stepped back from people who are in my world. I haven't cut them out. I haven't blocked them. I haven't been unkind or rude. I've just intentionally taken a tiny step back because I need to be around people that are talking about the future, talking about where they're going, talking about ideas, talking about, the bigger things in life, the meaning, not talking and being around people that are, in a place of scarcity or fear or lack, because we get what we're around. Like you said, we're the sum of the 5 people that we spend the most time with. And so if we're not putting ourselves in situations where we're around people that are at least, even if they're only at a point in their life where they're driving towards more rather than they've already achieved more, then put yourself with people that are focusing on where they're going. But don't put yourself around people all the time who are constantly talking about where they used to be, where it was, how good it used to be, where, what's not working right now, what's not working, what's going wrong, how difficult things are. I get there are times in our lives where we experience challenges, but you know what? Very few of them are really that hard. Okay. And I mean that in the nicest possible way. I'm not taking away anyone's personal situations. Everyone goes through challenging times. However, it's perspective. We have to find the perspective on how really hard it is. And if we want something enough, we have to work out how we push through. And ultimately, being around the people that are going to drive us forward and help us push through that are important. That's like why our friendship is so important to me and why we have so much, connection, is because if either of us are ever having a time where we're experiencing a challenge, and remember, a challenge is just an opportunity to grow. It's a lesson. It's never a bad thing. I don't believe anything bad ever happens to us in life. I believe that things happen in life that then give you the opportunity to look at it through a different set of eyes or a different lens. Things don't happen to us. They happen for us to help grow us. And so, if you have a difficult experience in a relationship or a difficult experience in a business, they're there to grow us and to help us. And so we have to be around the right people all the time. We have to put ourselves around. And actually, I would rather be around half a dozen great people than hundreds of not so great people.
You know what? I feel the same way. And when you're touching on change and going through a challenging time, first of all, change is the only constant. And every single time, whether it's, if changes are made in your company or in your industry or in the world, we always are going to come to a fork in the road. And there's that fork in the road that you're going to grow with the future, or you're going to talk about the good old days. And when you're talking about the good old days, and trust me, we love Iain and I, we get together. Some of us, we just have to relive the same stories because they're funny. We've had some really funny times, but it's never stories like this is the way it was. And we don't want to make changes. We know that moving forward, it might be uncomfortable. It might not be what we did, but it's all about the future and growing to the future. And you want to be really mindful of who you're spending your time with. Because if people are chatter, this is hard and we can't do it. And then all of a sudden they look around like, oh, I'm not the only one. Everybody feels the same way. You don't want to be average. I don't want to be average. Iain doesn't want to be average. And to really succeed and propel yourself, it's constantly putting yourself in an arena that you do feel uncomfortable, that you do feel challenged. In fact, if you are the biggest fish in the room, you're in the wrong room. You're actually looking at yourself and you're appearing better than you actually are. And it's not to dismiss what you're capable of. It's to remind you of you just want to continuously be leveling up so you have something to really strive for. So another thing I wanted to ask you, Iain, because again, no matter what people are doing, people are always going to question what you're doing or doubt what you're doing or present you with a reason to possibly step out in your comfort zone. So when you look at your journey, have you had people that have doubted you? And what's your mindset around that?
Of course. I couldn't even begin to imagine there is one person out there that has gone on a journey of entrepreneurship or even just followed a career path that hasn't had other people question them or doubt them or, say, you can't do something. I look back at my childhood and there were times in my childhood where, there were things that I was passionate about. I used to enjoy performing and I used to enjoy dancing. And so, that was a thing for people to, mock me. And it was a challenge for me to push through that and still do something I was enjoying and passionate about when lots of people around thought I was, they would take the mick out of me and ridicule me for it. And in fact, looking back, when I got to a certain point in my teenage years, I stepped back from it because I allowed that to get in the way. I allowed those things. And when I got to about 18, I realized that actually, no. And actually, those are things that then fueled me. So the very challenges that I had in my teenage years, I believe were the things that drove me in my adult life. And so I used them to power me rather than disempower me. And so many people who have moments of challenges or people that try and knock them down or take away their power or, mock them or belittle them or say, oh, you'll never do that. You'll never amount to much. How many people's teachers, wrote in their year-end books, if only they could have disciplined themselves a bit better, they'll never amount to much. These are things that people then hold on to as their narrative of their story. And as they go through life, they believe they can't do things. They can't amount to anything. They can't be something more than what they see in front of them on that daily basis. And so it is important to know that if someone doesn't think something highly of you, if someone doesn't like what you're doing, if someone doesn't believe you can do it, ultimately their opinion is just that. It is just their opinion. And most of the time, it's a reflection of who they are and their insecurities. Sometimes people don't want you to grow. Maybe you're in a relationship. Maybe you've both had consistently doing something that's been in both of your comfort zone for a long time. And then one of you decides you want to break away and do something slightly different. It makes people feel uncomfortable. It makes people feel can make people feel a bit threatened. What happens if they go on and do this? What happens if this changes the dynamic. And so from a place of love, sometimes people try and hold us back. They don't mean to sound like they're being bad or being unkind or being negative. They're actually thinking it's a form of their insecurity, but it's a form of protection.
When I'm committed and like seeing things through. And I know that our audience, there's so many people that have the potential to create so much because they are just limitless. So when they look at somebody like you, because it's never luck, it is never luck. What are some of the things that made Iain Pritchard who you are today?
Well, I just touched on a bit of the things that actually personally happened to me as a child, but that's not going to be everyone's story. So, we can't all think, I wish I was bullied in order to be successful.
Not to interrupt you, but the good thing about that, I'm interrupting you, is adversity, because I had some adversity even today, and I don't wish that on anyone, but if you really look at some of the most successful people, they dealt with adversity and they figured out how to navigate that. So when they came to business, it was almost easier than what they went through. Go ahead, Iain.
And that's the thing. At any point in our life, whatever happens, we can have adversity. So whether it was as a child or a teenager in your 20s and your 30s, at some point in our lives, we will all experience some form of adversity. And we have a crossroads where we decide whether that adversity is going to power us and propel us, or disempower us and shrink us. And so I do believe that part of that adversity was part of then why I probably became so incredibly driven. I definitely was a child that wanted things my own way. I wanted to get what I wanted, and I would keep going until I'd find another workaround. So resilience and kind of, hang on a minute, no, I refuse to take a no for an answer. I refuse to take that on face value. That grit, that resilience, that willingness to say again, ask a different way, find a different route in, find a different way round. That is, I believe, a big, powerful part of why, somebody becomes successful or doesn't. I look at people who, when someone says, I don't know, maybe they, ask them to take a look at something, or they go to a bank to borrow some funds to start a business or whatever, and the bank says, no, we're not interested. Wow, what, really? Just that one thing is going to put you down and floor you to the, okay, what's next? What's my next opportunity? How's another way in? Is there another bank? Is there another, you've written a book, and is there another publisher? How many publishers are you going to go to have your book published? We're going to go to 5, and they all said, no, we don't like you. No, we don't like what you've written. You're going to go to 10. You're going to go to 20. You're going to go to 100. Are you going to keep writing? Are you going to keep doing it? The resilience, an entrepreneur is someone who has to be willing to do the work without seeing the results. And if you are thinking, okay, where's my check? Where's the money for the work that I've just put in for the last month or two? You will never be able to move past what I would call a sort of a more employee kind of mindset. The entrepreneurial mindset is willing to do stuff without seeing the rewards, do stuff without any benefits. I would drive for hours. I would have meetings. I would go and see people. Whatever it was that I needed to do, I did whatever it took. And I didn't care whether I had a shorter night's sleep. I was willing to not go on holiday, vacation for 6 years when I started my network marketing business, because I was willing to do the work. Did I enjoy my 6 years before I went on my own personal little holiday? Of course. I had trips and stuff within that, but to take a break and actually just put my tools down and go, no, because what I wanted in my life was bigger than the short-term satisfaction. And so what are the tips that I could say to people? First, resilience. Know why you want what you want in your life. You've got to have grit and resilience like you've never had before. If you get knocked down, you've got to stand back up. And whenever you get knocked back down again, you stand back up again. The people who are not where they want to be at some point got knocked down and they stayed down. They stayed laying down. Now, I get it. Sometimes those things are so big, it feels monumental to get back up, but you have to fight. If there's a wall, it's like, how are you getting around the wall? Are you climbing over the wall? Are you digging under it? Are you going to go round it? Or are you just going to smash through it? Which is the way over past the wall? If what you want is on the other side of the wall, you've got to figure out how you're going to get through, past, over, or round, or under that wall. And so if you are not someone creatively trying to find new avenues to get where you want to be, think about who might be able to help you, asking for support, asking for help. Then, that's the mindset that you've got to have to get where you want to be in life. And you've got to be ambitious, and you've got to be driven, and you've got to be willing to take risks. You've got to be willing to take risks. And sometimes we think, they need to be quite calculated. But you've got to be willing to take biggish risks that actually you don't know what the outcome could be, but you've got to trust that whatever the outcome is what it's meant to be for you at that moment. If it all goes horribly wrong and you feel like you've got to start all over again, then that's part of your lesson. That's part of your journey. That's actually why you're here. That's why you're in this, that's why you've been here to experience that. Some of the most successful people didn't even see success until they were in their 50s, 60s, or 70s. So if you're sitting there wondering, when's my time? When's my moment? Trust and have faith and keep moving forward. Find, if you're sitting against a wall right now and it feels tall and it feels big and you don't know which way to go, then do something. Start digging, start climbing, start, looking, start thinking about ways. But you have to find ways to push through when things feel challenging. So, and then the other thing that I would say is, like we mentioned earlier, the vision part. If you don't have a clear vision for what it is that you want, where you want to be, what you want your life to look like, what you want your business to be like, the kind of people you want to be around, then when the challenges come, they'll always win. They will always win, hands down. They'll take you right out of your vision and put you right back, sat on the ground going, oh, this is tough. This is hard. Why me? It's not fair. Why are they having success over there? Why is it so easy for them? It's never easy for them. It's never easy for them. It's just that they got back up again and they fought through and they smashed through the wall.
So a couple of things came to my mind. First, I have a vision of you and I pushing each other over the wall. Okay, because we're going to go over the wall and we're going to laugh the entire time. And you guys, I have issues when I laugh, so that could be a horrible situation. I loved how you touched on it takes effort. And I think the world is shying away from that today. And somewhere along the line, hard work became unsexy. Like, when did working hard become unsexy? People want this great life, and then they stub their toe, or somebody says no, or they get a little bit of rejection. Like, maybe it's a sign. It's a sign that I shouldn't do this. There is no straight path to where you want in this life. And there's so many adversities and obstacles that come, but sometimes we need to sit and we need to really have that heart to heart with ourselves. If you're an entrepreneur or your dream is to be an entrepreneur, why are you expecting easy? Is your commute easy? Is working for somebody else easy? Is being told what you're worth easy? Is waiting for 2 weeks? And I'm not discounting a regular job. I'm not. But what I'm saying is every single thing in life is an exchange and it's a trade-off. And I am just so obnoxiously passionate about entrepreneurship because I feel like we have one life and no dress rehearsal. And what goes along with the money and the income potential and the time that you can create, it's the person that you're going to become. Because I personally didn't do any personal growth before 17 years ago. I didn't. I read People magazine. I looked at the pictures. I was looking at outfits. I actually read the National Enquirer because I wanted to know, like, gossip. What celebrity was sleeping with what celebrity? And personal growth absolutely changed my life. I'm going to pivot for a second, Iain. I'm going to ask you a question because I know that you're going to give me the G version of this question, but I know it's something we're living today where a lot of stuff is done remote, but I'm a really big believer in showing up and how you show up. And I know you are too. And as much as people say we're living in a casual world, what's your opinion on showing up, being professional, how you're dressed? Because I believe it really makes a difference.
Because 100%, because here's the thing. If I'm going to go meet someone to have a business conversation, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm going to have a business conversation. If I rock up looking like I've just walked in from the gym, people go, oh, it's relatable. I want to see that I can do this around other things, whatever it might be. Or, I'm going to go meet someone. I don't want to make them feel uncomfortable. I want to make someone feel inspired. I want to make someone feel, excited. I'm not saying I'm walking in a 3-piece suit to have a coffee and a conversation. But what I'm saying is I'm going to show up because here's the thing. If you take pride in yourself and you take care of yourself, that says a lot about who you are. If you've taken the time to turn up looking good and well turned out and dressed well, and your hair's good, and if you've got makeup on and that's done well, that says a lot about you. It's a bit like if you get up in the morning and you're the sort of person that throws yourself out of bed, don't give yourself enough time to get ready. You're quickly in the bathroom, but you left the bed unmade, and then you think, oh, I'll do it later. Even just a simple thing like making the bed before you leave the bedroom. You know, before the first thing you do, make the bed. It says everything about the standard. And so I believe that you are absolutely about showing up in this world. And if you get on a Zoom or a webinar or something with someone, get on it like you've gone to see them in person. You know, don't get on with your PJs on, with a bobble hat on, eating your pot noodle, you know, to do a professional meeting. I see people all the time looking like they just actually came through a hedge backwards. And I'm thinking, you know, who's ever joining you? Who's ever...
Like, who comes through a hedge backwards? You guys see what I'm saying? They came through a hedge, which is basically bushes, backwards. See what I'm saying? Like, that's the kind of stuff that cracks me up.
Have you never heard that phrase come through?
No, I've never heard that phrase, and we've been friends for over a decade.
But what I'm saying is, you know, take pride in who you are. People buy people. So whatever business it is that you're doing, whatever entrepreneurial journey you're taking, people buy into people. And if you can't sell the dream if you look like a nightmare. You know, you really can't. And so if you're talking to people, you're trying to get people to buy into whatever it is you've got, a product you're selling or a business idea that you're trying to promote, or something that you're doing. Maybe you're a sort of a sole entrepreneur. So maybe you're going to be an accountant or something. You're working for yourself. You're not going to get clients. You're not going to have people join you if you don't look professional and you don't show up. And so it's an attitude. And I agree. I think we've become a culture of not even average. Like, the bar's so low, we're doing limbo right now in life. Right now, the bar is so low. People are doing a limbo to get under the bar. And I mean that in the nicest possible way. I don't necessarily blame people. I think it's an entire global culture of over the last few years, people getting quite stuck in the bar has been lowered on what they expect for their life, what they think they can achieve for their life, and what it's going to take to reach that. And so we're looking for easy, we're looking for quick, we're looking for simple. We're an instant society. And, you know, we can love technology, but actually we should also be very, very mindful of technology. Technology can be a great help, but it can be an enormous hindrance, because it's an easy way to be lazy. It's an easy way to be part-time and little and small and minimal. You know, we can just think, oh, I'll just shoot that message, and rather than pick up the phone and have a conversation. You know, having conversations. I know I'm in my mid-40s, and I get it that someone in their 20s may not want to have a conversation on the phone with someone. But here's the deal. I don't believe that human connection is something that should just disappear. We need, if you've got an idea and you're trying to get backing financially, or you're starting an entrepreneurial journey, if you're not speaking to someone, if they can't hear your passion and they can't hear your vision and they can't sense your commitment, how are you ever going to get what you want if you've just sent a WhatsApp text, you know, or a text or a whatever, and you think, or a message on Instagram, and hoping that person's going to go, hey, yeah, I'll give you the money to start your investment, or I'll join you in your venture, or I'll come and be a client of yours or a customer of yours. You know, we have to be more intentional now than ever before as entrepreneurs about showing up and making this world a better place.
Okay. Awesome. That is really so awesome. And even when you say everything you say, I agree with, but here's what I want people to know. The fact that the bar has been lowered, what an opportunity. What an opportunity, because these are the types of times that history is made. And you could literally say, I am going to separate myself from the masses, and I am going to redefine the bar and literally leave everybody in the dust. I mean, look, I want nothing but success and abundance for everyone. But the reality is there are people that will never rise above their belief, their standard, and their level of excellence. And so when that's being minimalized, that's your opportunity to literally level up. So I'm going to ask you a last thought, Iain, and then I want you to let the audience know where they can follow you. Because also you'll see, I think you post some of that stuff on Instagram, but Iain, you guys have like dogs, the most adorable. I've never seen so many dogs when I stay at your house, but you guys do dog shows and all of this other stuff that we actually left off the podcast. But
not really me, it's my partner.
Yeah, you could mention that in a sec. Like, let everybody know, because they're like your life. So if you had to give people a piece of advice to level up, just level up, and that looks different for everyone, right? But what would that piece of advice that you want to leave our listeners with today?
I think ultimately, we're all at different stages of our entrepreneurial journeys. We're all at different points in our life, but ultimately it's the decision. You cannot do anything without the decision that this is it. This is it. No more, there's got to be a line in the sand at some point in your life where you decide that this is it, whether it's to take your current business to a new level, take your current life to a whole new level, or whether it's taking that first step of entrepreneurialism that actually you're going to no longer just think about it, just wish for it, but you're actually going to take the action and start it. So, to level up is really just to make a decision that you're actually going to do something different. You're going to do something, nothing will happen in our lives by doing the same thing. Definition of madness, doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Do something different. Take a step forward in whatever that is. And for some people, the steps may feel smaller at the moment. For others, the steps the step forward might feel like a giant leap. But until we decide that we're going to put one foot in front of the other and move forward, then we're always just sitting in a place of average, thinking about not doing anything about it. So in order to decide, to level up and to really think about what is my life really, what's it worth to me? What's it worth to the people around me? What's my life what do I believe that I want what is it I want my life to look like? In order to get towards that, you have to just make the decision. You have to make the decision to say one foot in front of the other. This journey, this next chapter, this next adventure starts today.
I love you. I'm really, really super, super grateful for you on a professional level, on a personal level. And I would love for people to know where they can find you. I know that you and Glenn, your partner, who I also love, they're interior designers and they're super talented, and you want to be following their pages. I mean, I tell you, his home is nothing less than excellent. So where can our viewers find you today?
Well, thank you. That is so kind of you. But, we tend to be more on Instagram. So on Instagram, you can follow me. It's my name, Iain Pritchard. That's absolutely just dead simple, easy. And it's IAIN. Some people don't always know how to spell the spelling of Ian. I go to the States, they call me Lane. I never walk into a hotel reception and they never say, hi, Ian. They say Lane. And I'm like, no, it's Ian, but it's all good. It's IAIN. So it's Iain Pritchard, which is my Instagram. And then if you want to follow the interiors and kind of see what we're up to on that side of things, it's Alexander Thomas Interior Design. And Alexander Thomas is actually my middle name is Alexander. My partner Glenn's middle name is Thomas, and that's how our brand was formed. That's how our company was started. So yeah, Alexander Thomas Interior Design, or just me, Iain Pritchard, on Instagram. Best place to find me. So love you to follow along. I'd love to connect.
Love you all. Have the most amazing day.